If you have a lawnmower where you need to replace your tires, whether it be for a puncture, dry rot, or anything else, then I think you found the right video. Because on today's video, we're gonna be installing this tire right here that doesn't have any rim onto this rim right here. And while we're at it, we're gonna be replacing our front tires as well, which already has a rim on it. So let's get to it. Before we get to installing these new tires, first I want to talk about the tire itself. These tires right here are made by a company called Marastar, and they're available for purchase on Amazon in multiple different sizes. These tires are also very unique in the sense that it has a different tread pattern than from what the standard John Deere mower has on it, or any other mower for that fact. The mower I'm going to be installing these tires on is a John Deere E120, which should work for any of those E100 series tractors. First, let's quickly take a look at this front tire. As you can see, it's a different tread than from what the John Deere originally has on it, which makes it a little more aggressive and gives it a little more bite, which is one of my goals of putting these new tires on. Also, if you look at the rubber itself, it actually sticks out a hair more than from what the stock tires have on it, which makes the tire a little more thicker, which allows the tire to be better protected. Now, this is exactly how this tire was shipped to me. It had the bearings already installed in it. It had the valve stem sticking out and capped already, filled with air, and it also has a grease fitting on the backside to grease it up once installed. Now, when it comes to these rear tires, this is what I'm really excited for. These are Marastar's Turf Traction Series tires, which allows for a nice turf tread on the outside, but then also has some nice ribs in the middle to give you some traction in some rough and tight spots, and some heavy slope spots or wet spots. And Marastar does sell these with the rim already installed. However, they did not have it in stock, so I bought the bare tire alone, so I'm gonna need to install these on my old rim. Now, if you'd like to look at these products further for yourself or like to purchase them yourself, I have links down in the description below with the products I have right here. And you can also see all their other variations on their Amazon storefront. And real quick, this is not a sponsored video, so you're gonna get my total unbiased opinion of these tires. So with that said, let's get to installing the tires. Now, before we get too crazy, it's standard on all John Deere tires to have bushings installed on them. But a company called Bead makes a bearing kit that you can install so your tires can spin more freely and smoother and give it a longer period of life. So we're gonna install these real quick on the tire. In order to take these old bushings out, you're gonna need a flathead screwdriver and a hammer. And all you're gonna do is set that flathead screwdriver in there and hammer the bushing out. And make sure you switch sides. Just like that, one bushing's popped out. As you can see, it does damage the bushing a bit, but we're not gonna reuse these, we're just gonna throw them out. Now we're gonna do the same thing to the other bushing. Second one out. Now let's install our bearings. Looking right here, you can see there's a little lip at the top right here. So you wanna make sure that this is on the top and then this is the actual part that slides in. Take it, set it down, take your hammer and start hammering the edges. Try to avoid hitting the centerpiece here and make sure you just tap along the edges. Just like that, you got one installed. Let's do the second one. So now that our bearings are installed and turning nice and freely, do the other tire and let's get to installing them. So when taking a look at these tires side by side, this one actually sits a hair higher than this tire. So that may mean we need to adjust that mower deck, but we'll see how it cuts after we install the tires. Also, something to take note of, they say to charge this one to 30 PSI, where John Deere only recommends charging this tire to 14 PSI. So let's jack the front of our mower up and make sure that you block the back so the mower can't roll back on you. The first thing we need to do is take this yellow cap off by heating it up and it should expand and pull off. Just use a heat gun, or if you don't have a heat gun, use a hair dryer. And definitely get some gloves on because it's gonna get a little messy. Now get something with a hook and pull it off. And let's wipe off that excess grease. Now it's got a C-clamp around it and we need to get that off. Take a flathead and knock it off. Clamps off. Take your washer off. Again, everything's gonna be greasy, so try to wipe it down. Your tire should slide right off. Now in these tires right here, I did have those Deeg bearings in here, which are still moving nice and smooth and no issues there. Now take your new tire and make sure the valve stem is on the outside and slide it on. I gotta give this tire a little bit of love. Now that the tire's on, put your washer back on, which they do provide washers and clips, but these are fairly new, so I'm just gonna reuse these. When it comes to getting the clips back on, this is kind of the most difficult part right here. Take a flathead and a hammer, and it's gonna be slippery, and then hammer it. And once you kind of get it on, finish it up with the flathead. And in that Deeg bearing kit, they also provide new caps. Last thing you need to do is grease it. I got some grease pushing out the back. That means it's full. Now, repeat the same step to the other side. Front tires are done. Let's go do the back. Now that we're at the back, we're gonna unblock it, move the blocking to the front tires, and jack up the back. And we're gonna use some jack stands here to help carry the load. Now that the mower's all jacked up, same thing with this. Take that yellow cap off and go from there. Same thing here, you have a little C-clip to pull out. Now it should slide right off. One thing to take note of here is there's a little notch that needs to be lined up with this notch right here, which you'll figure out eventually, but it's good to know when you're sliding it back on so you don't get frustrated figuring out why it's not sliding on. While we're at it, I'm gonna do the same thing to the other side. So now we got our tire up on our workbench. First thing we need to do is get all the air out of this tire. To do this, you need to have a valve stem remover tool. So now that that's all done, you need to pop the bead on your tire. There's a lot of different methods to do this, and there's tools that specifically do it. However, I'm just gonna use my tractor, but you can go to Harbor Freight and for 60 bucks, pick up a bead buster as well. So we got the beads off this tire. For the other tire, I'm gonna show you guys another method. And that method is using this guy right here. So we're back outside because we're gonna use the tractor still, but more so just as a support. So you can use anything that's sturdy enough to be able to exert downforce on this tire. Same thing with this one, remove the valve stem. And just like that, pop the bead. Let's do the same thing to the other side. Some of you may be wondering what I'm using exactly. Just pop just like that. This is a quick lift made by Irwin, and I'll make sure to link it in the description down below. So now that the beads are broke on both the rear tires, I'm gonna use some of these tire spoons right here, which again, I'll link down below to get the tire off. Take some of our soapy water, lubricate it a little bit. All right, now we gotta do the next part. Same thing here, a little lubrication. There we go. Let's go do the other one real quick. Once you get a hang of it, it's really not that bad. So now what you want to do, have some sort of metal rod and mount it in a vise. Slide it on like so. And the big thing here with these tires is they're directional. So you want to make sure you have it going the right way, which it has an arrow on saying forward is this way, and the arrow is also pointing that way. So that'll be forward. Same thing, soapy water. That did not work. So I'm going to try it this way. All right. Number one, all I did here was vice grip it to my workbench and made sure it was nice and lubricated and kind of pushed it on. All right, same thing to this side. Whew, that was a pain in the butt. One down, one more to go. Round two begins now. That side was easy. This side was difficult last time. Let's see how it goes. All right, we got this one now, and that was a little easier. All right, so now we need to set the bead to our tire. So leave the valve stem out and fill it up. So now what we need to do, we need to take our air hose off and quickly put the valve stem in. Check our air. We're gonna fill this to 22 PSI, 22 on the dot. Now we wanna check for any leaks. So use that soapy water. Give everything a spray, including the valve stem. Look for bubbles around. We're looking good on this side. Same with this side. This side looks good as well. Don't forget to put the cap back on your valve stem. Now let's do the last tire. money. Now that our tire's all set and filled up with air, we just got to put them back on. Remember, you need to line it up with the notch on the axle with the notch in the hole. Don't forget to put the clip back on. And lastly, the cap. Now, let's do the other side and we're done. Now that the tires are on and all ready to go, we just need to give it a test drive. So I'll be right back. All right, just got done driving it, and let's just say I definitely think these tires give me more traction. Now I know they're brand new and still nice and rubbery and sticky compared to a normal tire, but I still think once they get worn in a bit, it'll still give me excellent traction compared to my turf tires. I also think these tires will give me a little bit extra protection from nails and debris since I'm mowing my parents' yard, which is a new construction build and still has some construction debris like nails and stuff in it, and actually gave me 3 flats, hence why I had to change all the tires. With that being said, if you want to check these tires out yourself, all the links to the products I used for this video will be down in the description below. Again, thank you so much for watching, as it means a lot. And if you have any recommendations on what I should do to this lawnmower next, or any good upgrades for it, leave it down in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and have a good rest of your day.